Well, hello everybody and welcome to Story Time with me, Mrs Ellis. Did you notice my friends, Shrimpy and Shelley? They're my cuddly toys that I really love. So I thought it'd be really nice if they joined us for Story Time today. Hello to everybody. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Stanley and Foxes and Harrison. Oh, and my friend Bryn's on there too. Hello, Bryn. I'm sorry I can't see all your comments. So if I don't reply to you yet, don't worry. I'm going to grab a nice cup of tea after this and I'm going to answer all your comments later. So today I'm going to read you a story from my house. And today I'm reading it from my little girl's bedroom. This is Thea's bedroom here. She's got some lovely wallpaper, hasn't she? I hope you've been looking at it. And do you know, I decorated it myself, so hopefully you'll like it too. Today, children, we're going to read one of my favourite stories. It's called The Paper Dolls, and it's by a very well-known author, Julia Donaldson. I wonder if you can think of any other book she's written. Oh, I'll leave you to think about that and perhaps type some ideas in the comments for me to look at later. This book has also got really lovely illustrations, which are the pictures in a story. And we're going to be making some of our own when it finishes. And I'll tell you all about that after we've read our story. So, Shrimpy, Shelley, are you listening? Good-o. Let's begin our story today, The Paper Dolls. And hopefully you can see it too. There was once a girl who had tiger slippers and a ceiling with stars on it and a butterfly hair slide which she kept losing and two little goldfish. I don't know if you can see them there. Little goldfish at the bottom. Aren't they sweet? Perhaps you've got some pets at home. I wonder if you might have goldfish. I used to have goldfish. And a nice mother who helped her to make some paper dolls. You're going to have a nice teacher that's going to help you to make some paper dolls at the end of this. Oh, here they are. Look, aren't they lovely? And they were Ticky, Tacky, Jackie the Backy. Can you see Jackie the Backy? Look. Wonder why she might be called Jackie the Backy. This is a question that stumps my little boy. We have to have a think about why she's Jackie the Backy. This here is Jim with two noses. And finally, Joe with a very nice bow. And they danced. And they jumped. Boing, boing, boing. And they sang. Fa la 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 la. Hey, we like singing, don't we, guys? We love a good singing assembly. Do you know, they met a dinosaur who clawed and roared and said, I'm going to get you. But the paper dolls, they sang to that dinosaur and they said, you can't get us, oh no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy and Jim with two noses and Joe with a bow. And they jumped. Whee! Onto a bus. Can you see the bus? Look. There it is up the top. And they rode to a farmyard and they danced with the pigs. Then they lay on a rooftop and stared at the stars till a tiger slunk out of his den and he crouched and he snarled and he said, I'll leap up and catch you. But the paper dolls sang, oh, join in if you know this bit. You can't catch us, oh no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy. Jim with two noses and Joe with a bow. And they floated. Ooh, ooh, very slowly they floated down. Where are they going to land? Down the stairs, all the way down the stairs, look. And they danced around the honey pot and kicked crumbs and explored an island. Oh no, look, something else fierce is coming along now. Can you see what it is? It's only a crocodile. And he grinned his grin and he gnashed his teeth and he said, I'm coming to crunch you. Ooh, run, baby dolls. But they just laughed. And they sang, join in. You can't crunch us, oh no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky, Jackie the Backy, Jim with two noses and Joe with a bow. And they hopped, boing, 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 into somewhere where we've probably all been playing a lot lately. Their garden, look. Whoa. They sniffed the flowers and they chatted to a little tiny ladybird. Oh, hello, Miss Ladybird. How are you? They said. And they lay down in a forest of grass. Well, now this bit does tend to make me feel a little bit sad because look, what can you see? Along came a boy with a pair of scissors and he said, I'll snip you. It's not very kind, is it? Hope he doesn't snip them. And he did. He snipped them into tiny little pieces. Look at all those little pieces. Oh, they're all flying away. Poor paper dolls. Wasn't a very kindness koala, was he, guys? But the paper dolls just sang, and they sang, we're not gone, no, 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 no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy, Jim with two noses and Joe with a bow. And the pieces all joined together. And the paper dolls flew. Where did they go? Into the little girl's memory. And this is one of my favourite pages in the book. So I'm going to try, those of you who have been in my classes know I'm not great with a visualizer, but look at all the exciting things on that page. What can you spot? Hold it there for just a couple of seconds. Can you see me peeping over the top? It's funny, isn't it, everyone? Where they found, this is what I like to do with my children, we like to spot the things. White mice, there they are, look, in the hollow of the tree. And they found some fireworks. Oh, lovely things. No wonder she remembers those. And a kind granny. And a butterfly hair slide. Now, that's the quite tricky thing to find. Let's see if Mrs. Ellis, here it is, look. Just on the top of the tree there. Ooh. And more lovely things each day and each year. And the girl grew into a mother who helped her own little girl to make her own paper dolls. They were Poppy. She's got a nice green dress, hasn't she? Pinky. Suppose that's because she's wearing pink. Binky the Blinky. Fred with one eyebrow. Whoa, wee, look at that. And Flo with a bow. So she's changed them slightly, hasn't she? She's got her own ideas there. And they jumped. Boing, boing, boing. And they danced. Do, 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 do. And they sang. Fa la 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 la. And look, there we have a little girl happily playing with her paper dolls. And I'm hoping that in a little while, that'll be you happily playing with your paper dolls. I'm sorry if the book was a bit scrumpled. Look, it's not very new, is it? But that is because we love the story so much in this house. We just read it and read it and read it. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk you through how Mrs. Ellis has learnt to make some paper dolls. I've become something of an expert over the last few days. I've had lots of goes. So you can have a go at home a bit later. I will suggest perhaps don't make them now with me because it takes quite a long time to do the cutting and the drawing. We want to do it really carefully and properly. So if you just watch and listen for a minute, and then what I'm going to do, as I said earlier, when I finish is I'm going to grab my cup of tea, sit down and have a look at all your paper dolls. So without further ado, would you like to see the paper dolls that I made earlier? Let's give a bit of a drum roll, shall we? Here they come. I made these last night. I had a little bit of Easter egg that I borrowed from my little boy and a nice cup of tea. Look at that. Some paper dolls. Do you recognise them? You might have seen them in the book. Can you remember their names? We've got, starting from over here, Ticky, Tacky. Right in the middle, under my big chin, is Jackie the Backy. Someone here with two noses. What was his name? Jim, that's it. Jim with two noses and Joe with a bow. Now in the story, they talk about how they're holding hands and they won't let go. And that is the trickiest part of making some paper dolls, making sure that they're holding hands and they don't fall apart. You do have to be quite careful with them. So I'm just going to talk you through some simple steps about how you can make your own paper dolls. I hope you like mine. I really do. I spent a long time colouring that very carefully, guys. So I'm going to come up with some little prompts so that you can play this video back later, which will serve two purposes. One, it will remind you what to do, and two, it's going to make Mrs Ellis look super popular if you will come back on and watch it again. I bet Mrs Godding will think, hey, that Mrs Ellis, need to give her a bit of a pay rise. She's getting lots of attention. So the first thing we've got here is a question Mrs Ellis has written for you. First thing to decide with your grown-ups, and I do recommend, if you can, try and do it with a grown-up. It says, what will you make? So, of course, you don't have to do the paper dolls from the story. You could come up with your own ideas. I've got a few prompts here. So this one says you might like to do a doll. Ooh, it's a bit wonky-donkey, isn't it? You might like to do your friends and family. And actually, if I'd have had time, I would love to have done my Pashley friends. I was thinking of doing Mr. Davis. He often, oh, hi, Mr. Davis. I know he's watching me because he texted me earlier. I was going to do that, Mr. McInnes, Mrs. Lewis, Miss Brown, all my Pashley friends. Perhaps you'd like to do your Pashley friends or some family. You could do a favourite character. In this house, we just love PJ Masks. So my son would definitely like to make Catboy and Owlet or Paw Patrol. So you could try and do an animal if you don't want to do a person shape. I'd be very impressed to see if you've had a go at doing an animal. So that's your first prompt. What will you make? And you can talk about that with your grown-ups. Oh, it's like Blue Peter. I think I'd have been rather good at that. Number two, what will you need? Well, you're definitely going to need some paper, aren't you, to do paper dolls? But you could do different sizes. So you might use a great big sheet of paper, such as this one. This is called A3, this size. Let's actually try and show you it. There we are. Ooh. Or you might just use A4, and I'm going to show you a cheeky trick about how you can make quite a lot out of a piece of A4. You could use coloured paper, newspaper, be creative, any kind of paper that you like. You're definitely going to need a pair of scissors. That's a definite must. And make sure you've got a grown-up to help you, and don't use too sharp a scissors, will you? Crayons are a must. Well, actually, they're not a must. Depends what paper you use, I suppose. And a little bit of tape. I can't get this right, can I? A little bit of tape here if you're going to do Mrs. Ellis's secret tip of the day. Okay, so we thought about what we're going to make. We've thought about what we're going to need. Without further ado, I'm going to show you how to begin. So the first thing you need to do, guys, is you need to fold a piece of paper. So if you've got a small piece of A4 like this, you can start by folding it in half. And I'll try and do it so you can see. So what you've got to do is make sure the corners are touching each other like so. And do a nice fold along there, like that. Okay, so you should have a nice long bit like that. And then what you want to do is fold this bit. So if you hold it like that, you're going to make sure the sides meet each other like so. That's it. You're going to fold it in half again. Then you're going to fold it in half once more. There you are. You have a nice size to draw a paper doll on right there. Now, if you open it out, you'll see that you've then got lots of little boxes. What I suggest is, with a grown-up's help pouch, you cut it in half, and then you will either have 4 paper dolls, or if you stick it together like I've done here, whoa, look at that. You'll have loads and loads of paper dolls. In fact, you'll have double 4. What's that? 4 and another 4. I'll leave you to either count to find the answer or work it out very quickly. So once you've stuck your paper together, you've then got to fold it in what we call a concertina. Now that's where we go forwards one side, nice fold, then we go backwards the other side. You've got to fold it back on itself. Again, this is where an adult would be nice and handy if you've got one. Forwards, backwards, until you've folded it up into a kind of square, like so. Here's one I made earlier. I come prepared. And then you're about ready to draw your shape on. Now, what you've got to absolutely make sure you do, guys, is make sure it goes right to the edges. So I've got 2 paper dolls I've drawn here. Can you see them? Look. One goes all the way to the edge. That's this one. See how the arms go right to the end of the paper? Okay. Well, this one doesn't. Look, he's just sat in the middle of the paper, wondering what he's doing there. So this one, absolutely tickety-boo. You've got your arms right to the edge of the paper. You're onto a winner there. This one, it's a great drawing, but nonetheless, I don't think it's going to work. And to prove that to you, I have 2 little piles here. So I just want to show you what will happen if you don't draw your arms all the way to the edge. Are you ready for the great unveiling? Here we go. Oh, here they are, lovely little figures. But here we go. Oh no, they all fell apart, didn't they? Because I didn't draw my arms right to the edge. Another top tip from Mrs E is don't put hands on yet. So just draw the arms like that, and you can add the finer details in later, like I did. I'll show you mine again. Here we are, look. So look how I've added the detail in later. I've drawn kind of inside the lines. Let's have a look what happens when you do draw your lines right to the edge of the paper. You'd think this was obvious, but Mrs Ellis has done it wrong more times than you care to remember. Here we go. And, oh, look at all of those. Oh, look, they're holding hands and they won't let go. So these paper dolls are about ready to be drawn on now. So you always draw and colour them after you've cut them out. Very carefully indeed. So make sure the arms go right to the end, cut them out, and you should have yourself a nice long line of either 4 or that answer we discussed earlier, this many paper dolls. It's up to you. You could just cut, I've just cut them so that I had just 5 because I wanted the same as the story. So then you can add your details, and once you've coloured them in, you're about ready to take your paper dolls on an adventure. Take them around your house. I wonder what they might get up to, and I wonder what they might see and do. What we'd say as an extra challenge, if you'd like to today, is to tell us a story about what your dolls got up to. So, did they go in the garden? What did they see? Did they meet a ladybird like the paper dolls in the story? Or perhaps they meet a wiggly worm. Once again, feel free to log back on and look at the instructions again. I do have quite a good website there. If Mrs Ellis, if my explanation wasn't entirely great, then this one will give you a step-by-step instruction about how you can make your own paper dolls. Guys, I cannot wait to get my cup of tea, have a sit back now I've done my hard work, and look at all the wonderful paper dolls you've made. Oh, It's really exciting, isn't it? I hope you have a wonderful time with them. And hey, we've got some sunshine today to enjoy, so that's really brilliant, isn't it? Take them out for a walk. Well, it's been really great seeing you today. I hope you've enjoyed our story, and I hope I've given you a bit of an idea about how to make paper dolls. But if it wasn't clear, like I say, come back on. You can watch the video again. The website's very useful, or you can always message on the page and I will get back to you with my cup of tea. Lovely to see you all, guys. See you later. Bye. Bye.